right, just checking in for my 5 month update of the 6 month challenge I set for myself at the beginning of the year. For those of you who don't remember that, it's episode 429. And a quick recap, it was basically a challenge I set to my audience who wanted to do it with me. You can always do this challenge whenever you want, but basically, it was a longer play challenge instead of like a 30-day one. This was a 6 month one just to start working on building healthy habits slowly so you can master each one. And for myself, in January it was inflammation. In February it was supplementation. In March it was all about diet. April was all about movement, moving more. And for May, I'm finishing up May, it was basically working on sleep. And I've never really thought I had much problems with sleep. I always felt refreshed. I was going to work on it anyways. And what better to do that than just treat myself and buy myself a Whoop device? So if you're interested on hearing my monthly update, stay tuned. Before I begin, I'd just like to point out that I just started a new Facebook group for over 40 fitness hacks, and I'll put the link in my show notes if you're interested. This is just a way I can connect with my community and see if people have any other questions that they'd like to hear episodes on, hear what other like-minded individuals are doing over 40, things people are trying, successes, failures, and also just for motivation purposes. Once again, I'll have that link in the show notes. Let's continue on with the episode. So for this month, like I said, working on sleep. I always got 6.5 hours, 7 if I was lucky, and I didn't really need much more than that to feel refreshed, right? But this was the month I was going to work on it because that's what I said I was going to do. And I bought myself a Whoop device. Heard a lot of people talking about it. There was the Aura ring. I didn't really want to wear a ring. And then I heard that the Whoop device just had more bells and whistles anyways. So I can't attest to which one is more accurate, but the Whoop device just had more things that I could play with and biohack. And so let's get into it. So first off, I hate wearing jewelry, hate wearing watches. I'd rather wear this Whoop device than the Aura ring, like I just said. And it's not too bad. When I first got the device, I didn't want to pay all up front, so they had like a monthly deal. You end up paying more in the long run, but that's fine. Whatever fits in my budget now, that's the way to go. So for $30 a month, they sent me a brand new Whoop 4.0, and I just watched a couple of YouTube videos. And it's just like anything, there is tons of data and things to look at, and I just wanted the simplest things I cared about, and that's all I was going to track. So that's what I'm going to go through. So to keep it very simple, at the top of your screen, there's an overview of how your day went, and then it breaks everything up into how your sleep went, how your recovery went, and how your strain went. So sleep, it shows you how much light sleep you got, how much light REM, how much deep REM, and then how many times you awoke throughout the night. And there's ranges that they say this is what's good for humans, I guess, and probably my age. And I've been scoring above 85, 90% almost right off the bat. But then what I was watching was my deep REM sleep was not that long where I should be. Everything else was fine. So, okay, that's what I need to work on for the month of May. And how do you get that deep REM sleep? Obviously, do the best you can with your diet, working out, and then just going to bed earlier. So instead of getting 6.5 hours, I just force myself 7.5, 8 hours, and I start seeing that score go up. I didn't necessarily feel refreshed because I slept 8 hours. I think I just had more chances to get that deep REM. So that's what I was missing. And I've been scoring really good for the last 3 weeks once I started focusing on that. And as far as strain is all about your workout, your heart rate, your blood oxygen levels, it's cool that it like catches that, your resting heart rate. It knows the days I was drinking, knows the days that I worked really hard. For my whole style through this whole 6 month challenge and everything I've been preaching, I like doing the bare minimum. So I've been only doing 3 to 4 workouts per week, only 30 minutes. I time myself on it. So my strain score was never that crazy. So it always showed me that I was in good recovery and always wanted me to work out more, but I wouldn't because that's not what I'm trying to do now. But it's still cool to see that. As far as the strain, which was what was really cool, was seeing how many calories you actually burn according to your skin temperature, your heart rate, all that kind of stuff that it's guessing on, right? With all your weight and height and that kind of stuff. But I think it's more accurate than Googling charts of what each type of exercise is actually burning, because something I've learned as a personal trainer later in life is the better you get at something, the more efficient your body becomes at that one thing, like running on a treadmill or doing the same workout. You end up expelling less calories because of that, because your body's getting more efficient. But that sucks for you because you're trying to lose weight. So this stuff ain't working. And this Whoop totally shows that I'm barely burning any calories doing my half-hour workouts. That's not my goal. My goal is to build lean muscle mass with the least amount of work, which I can attest to just looking at myself in the mirror, right? That kind of really puts it into perspective to see that number changing from what I'm doing for each workout. And then it shows you your daily calorie expenditure and it'll show your average across the board. But if you're really biohacking yourself, you should be checking out your calories per day because some days I hit 2,400 calories because I was really active, really walking around doing stuff. And other days, most probably weekends, didn't move from the couch. And then I hit like 1,900 calories expenditure. I always talk about that. That's your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. How many calories are you burning per day just by being you? And you, of course, adding in some movement and workouts. So the higher that number is, the more likely you are to start burning calories. But if you just match the calories to each day, it's crazy how fast you can expedite this process of losing weight. So basically, at the end of each day, I look at my calories that it's guessing that I burned, and then you just adjust your dinner or nighttime snacks, whatever you're doing, to compensate for that. That was so easy and it just became a daily habit because of this. And I just start seeing the number drop. So it's really cool to see all this. Then it gives you an HRV score, which is basically the simplest way to put it. It's a combined score of your resting heart rate, your max heart rate, how efficient you are at your breathing, respiration, and it gives you this score called your HRV, which I don't even know what it stands for, but definitely progressing through the week, Monday through Friday. By Friday, my score is really good because I've been clean all week. And then by the weekends, my score just drops. And that's probably from drinking and eating like crap. But the goal is that each Friday, basically, to see a higher HRV score. And I'm slowly getting to there. I always talk about using stuff to motivate you, whether it's watching videos, reading books, listening to podcasts, or getting stuff, building a little mini gym for your house, or getting little things like Fitbit or the Whoop or the Aura Ring, anything to keep you ingrained in this because it's so easy to slip out, not care anymore. And then, oh my God, gaining weight is no problem. Losing weight is the issue. So besides at the top of the Whoop device, the overview, then it goes to sleep recovery strain. At the bottom, there's a plan of what it thinks you should do for the day. And the only thing I really cared about is how many hours of sleep do you want me to get? Because I'm not going to do your strain. I'm going to do what I want. Just tell me how many hours of sleep. And depending how well I did the previous days, it would lessen it or increase it. So whether I did or not, or at least I know about it and made a conscious effort. And then there's a community thing that I didn't even mess with. So other than that, there's a lot of other bells and whistles on here that I'm not that techie to care. Just give me the bottom of the barrel stuff. And so everything I just mentioned, that's what I cared about. As far as wanting to use this device forever, I don't know. Like I said, I hate wearing things, jewelry, everything. And at this point, I know exactly how many hours of sleep. I know how many calories I'm burning. It's like every day I look at this now, everything's the same. But either way, I prepaid for a year, monthly payments. I'll keep at it until this thing just basically falls off. Make my decision after that. Maybe the Whoop 5.0 has other metrics that this didn't have before. That might keep me going. Overall, a good experience. Just to recap the other months, crushing movement, on my game for supplementation. Inflammation, I'm still suffering from just because I have so many freaking allergies. In fact, at the beginning of this month, I actually got the stomach flu. My whole family got the stomach flu. And who knows if it was Nova virus or, I mean, it was a bad one. It lasted 3 weeks, plus some residuals after that. And I scored myself a brand new allergy to eggs that came out of nowhere. And then talking with my doc, it happens to people over 40. No one really knows. I think leaky gut is probably the issue because it keeps being the same amount of foods that I'm eating the most. Eggs are pretty much every day and have been for a long time. Get leaky gut, maybe went to the bloodstream, who knows. But this allergy specifically is a FPIES allergy. You can look it up. Different from histamine-based response allergies. So Claritin, nothing can help me with this one. Basically, it's just upper GI pain, incredible pain, throwing up, and pretty much everything I read online, talked to my doctor, it's once you get these allergies, it's pretty much set for life. So that sucks. So eggs are now out. I'll just move on to something else. And as technology and medical advances keep going, and hopefully with AI, maybe some of the stuff will come back. But I won't bore you with any more details. I just wanted to talk to you about my update. I got one more month to go. I'm basically going to start working on stress. I don't have too much stress. My thing will be meditation. Do some type of meditation. Try to get up in the morning to see the sun, go for a walk after dinner, try to get that circadian rhythm mastered and see what kind of successes I find with that. So, with that, if you want to try to do this challenge, like I said, go back to that episode 429. I explained it in detail, or maybe just motivates you to do something different. But just keep on pumping. Check out my show notes for a link for a free 15-minute Zoom call. I also just started a new Facebook group. There's a link to that as well. Thanks for listening. I'll check you out on the next one. Thanks for listening. If you've been enjoying this podcast and other podcasts like it, and have ever thought about doing your own, I highly recommend it. There is hardly any competition in the podcasting world compared to all other social media channels. Actually, I started a new podcast called Step by Step Podcasting, where I'm using that actual podcast and going in sequential order of doing what I did for Over 40 Fitness Hacks over the course of 3 years and hoping to do it in 6 months with this podcast. So if you're at all interested, check it out and check out my link for Descript in the show notes. It's an editing software that has literally saved my life in the podcasting world. Check it out, or I'll catch you on the next one of Over 40 Fitness Hacks. If you'd like a little bit of help checking out your diet and your current routine, I'd be happy to help. I always do a free 15-minute Zoom consultation for anyone, no strings attached, just to see if I can help point you in the right direction. So if you're interested, check out the show notes. The link is at the top.